Hi, welcome to the Skin Philosophy Edit. Today on our podcast we have the wonderful Pandora Long. So Pandora Long was one of our previous students and she now has opened up a successful clinic in Chelsea. So welcome, Pandora.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's
It's such a pleasure to be here. Yeah, it's lovely to see you both again.
Oh, thank you.
After a while of traumatic education.
Yeah. So obviously coming onto our podcast today, we want to hear about your story. So tell us how you have got to where you are today in terms of your clinic, even if lifestyle choices, what you...
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a journey. I actually was an accountant before I got into skin, so it's not something that I've done forever. So yeah, I was an accountant mainly for small businesses. And I was just getting in this cycle of sort of coming to this hitting a brick wall in my work and then thinking, oh, well, it must be the company I work for. I just applied for another job in the same field. And then it did get to a point where I was like, right, is this it? Is this my life? Crunching numbers for the next however many years. So I thought, okay, what can I do that I'll actually enjoy? And racking my brains, and then I suddenly thought of skin. I mean, I've always suffered with my skin. As a teenager, I had quite bad acne. When I was at school, all girls were using Garnier face wipes and Dream Matte Mousse, and I had a 10-step Dermalogica skincare program because that's all that existed at the time, and I was wearing Estee Lauder double wear, and so I then went on Reactane to fix that, and then after that it was sort of this journey of trying to find ways to reduce my scarring. So at the time it was mainly peels and laser, so having a lot of knowledge, more than most people who don't suffer with their skin would in that sort of field anyway. All my friends would come to me for product recommendations, so as soon as I thought, well, why didn't I go in skin, I couldn't believe that it didn't come to me already. And then that's kind of when I started looking at how to start the journey.
And so interestingly, going from accountant, now we have investment bankers, solicitors, accountants, scientists and judge that have changed from their industry to skin.
Yeah.
Now, I know when I went into beauty, the way it was perceived. How did your family and friends take that?
Well, I say this all the time. If I would have finished school, particularly the school that I was in, and said, I'm going to go into beauty, and at that point, we're talking over a decade ago, it would have been seen as beauty therapist, or, not that academic. Yeah. You're going to be on X amount working for someone else for the rest of your life, which of course nothing wrong with. But I think the perception has totally changed. You can own your own business, you can be successful. Yeah. There's so much more to it, which I have learned in terms of knowledge.
That was a shock.
It's not like a DOS job at all. And to be fair, when I breached it with my family and friends, they were so supportive.
Nice.
They know how passionate I was about skin to begin with. They saw probably how unhappy I was in the field that I was currently in.
Yeah.
I've had nothing but support, which has been lovely.
That's
it's
lovely.
so interesting how, and now everyone's into wellness, beauty. The whole perception of the industry's totally changed. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I feel like nowadays as well, we're going into the industry where it's not just now just your high street beauty salon that does everything. I find that everyone is becoming specialising in their own field of work.
Exactly.
And actually, regardless whether it is painting nails or or doing lashes or whatever, doing manicures, pedicures, all the way through to actually working with the skin, there is actually a huge amount of knowledge and art and skill that goes behind all of these different aspects of the beauty industry in general.
And I think something that's helped with that is social media, because people can really see, I go into a hole of watching reels of manicures with this amazing intricate art, and you can actually see what goes into a manicure, a pedicure, a skin treatment. I think there's just people can see a lot more into what goes into these things, and I think it's just garnered a lot more respect, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more respected. So then you decide you go into this industry. You start looking up schools. Of course, you came to us. But how was that first step? So you decided, on us, and then enrolling and then coming across, because honestly, so many students struggle at the start when they see that amount of information, because it's not just how you're going to do a facial, it's the anatomy and physiology, it's the skin conditions, it's like how you're adapting products, how you're adapting everything for it. How was that first start?
So I have to say, I don't know what I was expecting in terms of theory, but I thought, I've done exams my whole adult life. I've done my accountancy exams. I'm quite good at this sort of thing. I'm quite studious. When I logged in to my portal, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, what? And then I started my first video, and it was talking about the layers of the skin and all this, and anatomy, physiology, all this terminology. And I was like, oh my God, I was not ready for this. So it was a shock. It was a total shock. But as I say, the theory work didn't really put me off. That's something that I was used to. The thing that terrified me the most was the physical side of the training. But I must say the sheer amount of coursework and things that I saw that I had to complete, at first it did seem quite overwhelming.
And in terms from a student point of view, because we do have questions of people getting overwhelmed, because obviously from our perspective, not only are we trying to give a off-call government regulated qualification, but also as well, us as a business, as a brand, we want to obviously give our students the best. So we try, and I'm sometimes I go and see Anne Louise in the office, and she's still developing the level 2 training manual, which has been out for the last 10 years. So it's
I'm just gonna add this in.
I just need to put in here this sentence. So it's just obviously we want to make sure that we're keeping on top of it. So obviously it's great that we're trying to give people all this information and knowledge, but from a student point of view, how did you, I suppose, compartmentalize it? How did you break it up? Did you how did you not make it as intense as what it probably looked?
And just quickly touching on that's one of the reasons that drew me to skin philosophy, is the in-depth theory that I knew that you guys would provide, and that was something that was really important to me. So I think what happened, initially I tried to do all the coursework and the studying alongside my job, which was for a startup at the time, which they work you all hours of the day, and I just realised that I wasn't going to be getting this done efficiently. So I think what really helped me is to actually, as hard as it was, say goodbye to the job and just purely focus on skin and getting this work done. It was good for me because it meant that I didn't necessarily have something to fall back on in terms of I've still got my job, I don't have to do it. So that's what really helped me, just focusing purely on this new journey that I'd started. And on it, you guys set it out really well on the portal where you section everything. So I would just, honestly, it's not, I didn't do anything crazy. I just focused on one section, got that section done, moved on to the next one. Didn't even look at the others until I just completed one, because otherwise that's when it all starts to feel a little bit crazy. But as I say, I think that the amount of knowledge and theory that you guys provide is perfect, and it does seem overwhelming at the start, but once you get the hang of it, the more the better, really.
I think it's good that you've said that as well, because when I speak to students, the first thing that I say, you've almost backed up what I say without me actually saying anything, is that I always say to them, it could seem overwhelming at first, but focus on just one thing at a time. Like you said, you took the leap of faith of quitting your job and then being able to not only focus on the coursework, but then also you put yourself in that thing where it's it's pushing me to now go into it, and that's absolutely amazing. I also think for people that potentially can't do that, is that it's just important to make sure that you are delegating time, and that the coursework and the course material is not being put on the back burner as something that you're going to do in your spare time. This is you building your knowledge, it is building your career, and it should be just as much of your to-do list as what it is having to go to gym 3 times a week or having to do whatever. And I think that's really important.
No, definitely. And I was in such a fortunate position that I could take a month off, to do that. But I think also it's just, it's really easy to put so much pressure on yourself at the start to complete it all within X amount of time. But just what I would say is just enjoy it now. I know it sounds so cliche, but just to be kind to yourself. Be like, I'm learning something new. Isn't this great? As opposed to I have to get this coursework done, otherwise I can't do this. And just like sort of, look at it as like exciting and learning. Easier said than done, but take the pressure off a bit.
That's because we get an awful lot with the students, and they come in and they're like, and I'm like, relax, stop it, relax. And it's like, my biggest thing is I don't want them stressing out because they won't enjoy it. And also you can't absorb if your brain is going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So unless you like take a chill and just like go, okay, I'll learn what I can learn, and that's it. So your first day then, practical. So basically you completed all your theory assignments, then you did your exams, you did amazingly in your theory exams, and then you started in practical. So it is daunting going in that day, and you had Rebecca teaching you, and Clapham Rebecca's amazing. So how was that whole process?
So I'm quite an introverted person. Up until that point, my job was based on sitting behind a laptop, communicating via email, occasionally the phone. Occasionally face to face, but barely, and used to working by myself in small businesses. So for me, I knew that the training was something that I was going to find the hardest and the most overwhelming. I was obviously a nervous wreck the first day, and also it's kind of like starting a new school, first day of school, like meeting who's going to be there, what are they going to be like, are the girls going to be nice, all these things. Everyone was absolutely lovely. So there's a lot of nerves going into it. And then obviously having to like touch someone's face, sit opposite them, do a consultation, it was a lot. And I think what I love the way that Rebecca taught, and that how skin philosophy also, teaches you the same in level 4, is that you give just enough support and demonstration to feel like, okay, if I really have a problem, I can touch base with someone, or I know enough to like get on with what I'm doing. But also you give so much autonomy to like just kind of get on with it. This is what it's going to be like when you get out there. You're not going to have someone sat next to you helping you, reassuring all your decisions. And it's back to back, like you get used to those busy days. And I think that's what was great.
Because my thing is like always, I won't fish for you. I'll teach you how to fish, but I'm not going to fish for you. And like that's always been my thing, is I'll give you the skills. It's up to you to adopt them. And like some people will absolutely run with it, but it's very terrifying to touch someone's skin and go, how much pressure? Am I going to break their skull? Am I, it's quite a lot from nothing.
It was a lot. And I think also, as I say, you guys give just the right amount of support, and then you take a step back. So that's, for me, found it hard initially, but what's totally helped in the long run. But as I was saying earlier, I walked out after my first day and called my husband and was like, I don't think I can go back tomorrow. And I think most people feel like that.
Most people do. So many students tell us.
That's what helped, because Rebecca did say that at the start. You're going to leave here and be like, oh my gosh. So she said, go home, like have a bath, don't think about anything that you've done today, just really switch off, and then come back tomorrow. And then that's exactly what I did. I didn't think about it too much. Went back for day 2, and honestly the change was like massive.
It is absolutely crazy for us as well as trainers, watching how people come in. The thing is it's quite hard really, because when you come in for the first day, actually that is the most intense day, but then that's also the day where we want to make sure that everyone's happy and that they want to come back again and stuff. But it is very intense, but it is kind of, it's almost like, right, we're going to give you all of this today, but like what you just said, when you come back the next day, it's almost like you're a different person. You're just like, you just need to process what has been taken in and then go and do it. But it is a skill in itself of like obviously doing what you've done of working in a complete different industry, to then having to learn to communicate, to speak face to face, to be able to be okay of tapping into people's personal lives, trying to find out about everyone, having to know everything on the consultation form, having to look at the skin, having to manage the client, having to do all of this. and that will only come with experience, and that's what you have gained, and that's what students will learn, is that at first it is going to feel like a lot, but you're only going to, even us that have been in the industry for a long time, you're never going to stop learning. There's always something you can learn and implement into what you do. And I think that's, and as you are very good at what you do, and you've come very far.
It was hugely different, and like, as you say, it's, you know, having in a work environment, the conversations that I have with people are very sort of black and white. You know, we talk about figures. You know, there's no emotion in it whatsoever. There's a real emotional intelligence that comes with working in the industry that we work in. You know, reading someone, how you word things, how, you know, what your demeanour is. All of that was totally new to me.
Yeah, even how they answer things, like, so, you know, if they answer things, you know, when you're finding out about their skin health, and they're like, oh, you know, don't drink enough water, but you're interpreting how they say that sentence to go, okay, you really don't drink any, or you're open to like, you know, you're going to drink more if I tell you more. You're interpreting every question they
Detective
say.
Work.
Oh no, I don't really take any medication. Really don't.
And then it comes out like down the line that they take a whole bunch. That would have been great to know. Yeah, for sure. No, it is. I mean, it's a totally different skill set in so many ways.
Yeah. Do you feel like as well that obviously from going from the coursework to then maybe day 3 of practical training, whatever, do you feel like that it was actually starting to like all come together, like everything was making sense, and like it was everything that you basically learn over the couple of months, it was kind of starting to get easier?
Yeah, it definitely started to click, and as I say, I went in saying, you know, I know all my knowledge, I know what this colour LED light does, I know what this does, and it's like all good and well if you have it in your head, but when you're in, you know, in a room with a person, you're thinking on your feet, you've just analysed their skin type, okay, what shall I, you know, I can't take 15 minutes to sit and have a think about, what direction shall I go with the treatment. You know, it is about bringing it all together, and by day 3, I definitely felt more confident in my ability to make those choices about which direction to take the treatment, what route to go down in terms of the electrics. Way more comfortable when someone was, I could hear them coming up the stairs. I do get that, like, anxiety. I was like, okay, you know, another person, like, just another day. Like, definitely by day 3, it definitely all comes together. Not to say that, you know, you're 100%, you know, in the game, but, like, you definitely feel like, okay, I've got this. No need to panic.
So now you have a really successful clinic, and you're doing amazingly. You're definitely one of our success stories. Where it's like you look at it, and you know Rebecca's like, oh, she's surprised. So how was that? So opening the clinic, like, you know, deciding on the machines, deciding on, you know, which skincare lines, treatments you were going to do, location, getting the unit, because that's the next step, and it's a real struggle for a lot.
I think obviously when I first started the training and the course, even, you know, right at the start, I did have a vision of kind of what direction I wanted to go in. I knew that I wanted to work for myself. I knew that I wanted to be based in Southwest London and probably provide, you know, on like a price scale, a higher end of treatments, specialise in certain things, like not offer a huge repertoire of treatments within skin and beauty, etc. I knew these things to begin with, but it just didn't have the confidence necessarily to believe that that's where I could go, which is obviously something that you've all really helped me with. And once I sort of thought that, okay, this is something you probably could do if you really wanted to, that's when I started implementing it all. So I kind of already had a plan from the start. But yeah, I mean, it was hard, honestly. I was second guessing a lot of decisions I was making. I was obviously set up incredibly well by the training. I knew, you know, I had the basis of a really good facial treatment. I loved the microneedling. I knew that that's what I was going to continue with. So I had all these things that I knew. But yeah, it is hard, and it's all about research. And I think something that I struggled with the research is looking at what other people were doing, these successful clinics on social media, but also not sort of comparing yourself and being like, oh my god, I'm never going to be that. So it's taking the inspiration but not comparing yourself too much. But that's kind of, I did have a picture before I even started the training of the route I wanted to go down, so I think that